This brings us to our first opportunity for citizens to speak. The audience has the opportunity to address the board at this time, and please direct your comments to the board as a whole. Comments become part of the public record. Speakers are cautioned not to use names of individuals, especially students. While addressing the board, you have 3 minutes for your remarks, and as always, you are welcome to submit your comments in writing to the board. So when you step to the microphone, not everybody may know who you are, so please identify yourself.
All right. Can everybody hear me? All right. Good evening. My name is Hayley Alderman, and I'm a junior at Port Huron High School. Tonight, I open my remarks with a familiar story by Hans Christian Andersen. Many years ago, there lived an emperor who thought so much of new clothes that he spent all his money in order to obtain them. His only ambition was to be exceedingly well dressed. He did not care for his soldiers, and the theater did not amuse him. The only thing, in fact, he thought anything of was to drive out into his kingdom and show a new suit of clothes. But one day, 2 swindlers came to his city. They made people believe that they were weavers and declared that they could manufacture the finest cloth ever to be imagined. Their colors and patterns, they said, were not only exceptionally beautiful, but the clothes were made of their material possessed the wonderful quality of being invisible to any man who was unfit for his office or unpardonably stupid. That must be wonderful cloth, thought the emperor. If I were to be dressed in a suit made of this cloth, I would be able to find out which men in my empire were unfit for their places. And I could distinguish the clever from the stupid. I must have this cloth woven for me without delay. And he gave a large sum of money to the swindlers in advance that they said they would set to work without any loss of time. So the day came when the swindlers delivered the new suit of clothes to the emperor, but alas, the emperor himself could not see the fabric. What is this, thought the emperor? I do not see anything at all. That is terrible. Am I stupid? Am I unfit to be the emperor? That would indeed be the most dreadful thing that could happen. Not wanting to be exposed as unfit, the emperor pretends that he himself can see the suit, and so does everyone else who has heard of the power of his pretend clothes. Now, I'm not suggesting that Port Huron policymakers are literally running around naked, obsessed with haute couture. Instead, I see a similar sense of blind arrogance, like that of the emperor, which can no longer be denied. It's a my way or the highway world here at Port Huron Area School District, and I suppose you emperors have the power to have that as your mantra. But if that is the case, then only you can own all failures. Let's look at your track record so far. Let us remember the hundreds of Port Huron area high school students who will not graduate simply because you continue the abysmal math policies which force them to teach themselves through intellectually indefensible means. Sitting at computers and clicking buttons cheated out of a real teacher. A math program that includes a rigid schedule where the individual needs of every student are usurped by the needs of a process. Policymakers refuse to weight AP grades, an absolutely free way of giving students a leg up in the college application process. Weighted grades reward students for taking more rigorous courses, yet we are one of only a few Michigan high schools left clinging to this antiquated grading system. And then there's the ICLE. How can you, our administrators, our school district emperors, ever really be trusted again? By hiring the International Center for Leadership and Education, didn't you admit that you failed at your own jobs? You couldn't fix the problems by trusting the teachers or listening to students and parents. So instead, you hired an outside company to clean up your mess and to essentially do your jobs. Who else among us gets paid while someone else gets paid to do their job? When the ICLE leaves the district, is everyone supposed to believe that you are suddenly fit to do your jobs again? You'll have gotten your mojo back? That suddenly you can see the special cloth of which the emperor's suits are woven? It is no secret that you are currently negotiating a new contract with the Port Huron area school teachers, and that you would like to retroactively cut their salaries and limit their ability to get affordable health care for them and their families. You say this is necessary because we're in an economic crisis. Where was the economic crisis when you hired the International Center for Leadership and Education? Where was the economic crisis when you bought the licenses for a failed math program? And where was the economic crisis when you increased the size of administration by hiring 2 administrators to replace the one that left? No. I'm tired of my teachers, the people who affect my life every day, being made the scapegoat of failed policymakers. Teachers are the backbone of this school district, not its Achilles heel. But we need an end to our story, don't we? At the end of this story, the emperor walks in a procession to show off his magical suit. Of course, he's butt naked. But no one wished to let others know they saw nothing, for then they would have been unfit for their office or too stupid. Never were the emperor's clothes more admired, until a small child calls out that he is indeed wearing no clothing at all, and everyone else agrees with him. It seems to the emperor that they are right, but he thinks to himself, now I must bear up to the end, and the chamberlains walked with still greater dignity as if they carried the train which did not exist. I believe that the policymakers of this district are smart enough to realize that the path they have chosen is indeed the wrong one, but for some reason they insist on finishing the procession. Tonight, I am here to join the chorus of truth tellers, students, teachers, parents, and taxpayers to proclaim the emperors are not wearing any clothes.